What's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. I hope this video finds you guys doing well. Today we are joined by one of the best players in all of India with a huge passionate Clash Royale fan base. At the very top of the skill is Saif. And Saif, I've had him on the channel before. You guys have requested him coming back for quite a while now. He's playing a new version of Three Musketeers. It's very similar to the old meta of Three Musketeers, but you know, a question that I posed to him and a question that I'll pose to you guys is Three Musketeers dead? You know, Three Musketeers, those of you might know, was my favorite deck in the last meta, and the meta before that, and the meta before that, and so on and so forth. I've always loved Three Musketeers. However, there's no doubt about it. With the buff to Wizard hurting our minion horde, the buff to Valkyrie hurting our Three Musketeers, and the buff to Mega Knight hurting our Three Musketeers again, it really makes for a tricky situation for Three Musketeer enthusiasts such as myself in the current meta. However, I reached out to Saif, again, one of the top Three Musketeer players in the game, probably alongside Yui, alongside, of course, AK, of course, the Pioneers, Esley, and One Hive Hunter, and Darth Jar Jar. I mean, it's funny, you almost have like a little sect of sect is probably the wrong word, but a little category of CR pros who really specialize. Toby Spirit Hawk as well. Shout out to you, Toby. I love you, man. So there's a lot of great Three Musketeer specialists. And I actually looked in Stats Royale, and I looked to see what the win percentages of decks are right now using Three Musketeers, and surprisingly, they're actually still pretty solid. As a matter of fact, there have been 7 on Stats Royale decks recently listed in recent winners of 12 win grand challenges just today that have won 12 wins. So it's certainly still viable. Now let's talk about the deck. By the way, guys, I recorded this with commentary. I apologize. This is me in a live ladder match. Live. My hands are not on the iPad right now. And unfortunately, I had a little bit of a video issue in this video, so I apologize. There's going to be a few quick little blips on the screen, and I don't know what it was, but I apologize. I fixed my wires, so that shouldn't happen again. Anyway, I canned the commentary because I found it too distracting, and now we're kind of gonna go over it. And let's just go play-by-play here as we enter into double elixir time. You can see the black little thing there. It's annoying, right? Annoying. Annoyed the hell out of me anyway. The opponent uses their log and their fireball in the right lane, so I go all in the left lane. It's a Valkyrie, Goblins. I take down the left tower, and I knew that he overcommitted using the log and the fireball against my right lane push, so I was able to drop the 3 muskies in the pocket. Even though I lost a tower very early on here, I was able to come back and continue pumping up, bait out that fireball, and I pull off the victory with the 3 crown. And that's something that you guys can do as well. So this guy had a lot of good counters to my deck, but I was able to kind of circumvent them and be patient, continue pumping up, and pull off the victory. Now let's talk a little bit about the deck versus the old Musketeer meta, right? So there's only, I guess, 2 big changes, or 3 changes in this version of Three Musketeers. So let's talk about them and why Saif decided to do what he did with this deck, right? And basically it's faster. It's 2.9 Three Musketeer deck. Almost all Three Musketeer decks, except for kind of like the niche off-meta decks, are 4.0 or higher. But we changed the minion horde with just plain minions. We changed the Ice Golem with Ice Spirit. Of course, there's some versions that run both. And we traded the Valkyrie in there for Battle Ram. So now the Valkyrie gives us a better answer to all the swarm going around right now. It gives us a viable answer to Rascals right now. And it gives us a pretty decent tank, even to stop princes or wizards. Speaking of wizards, you saw in the previous match that I was able to use my miner to redirect the opponent's wizard. Even though it took some damage, I was able to really easily handle the wizard with a miner and minions. And that's the versatility that you get with the cheaper minions versus minion horde. Now the beautiful thing about this deck is when you get into double elixir time, it cycles incredibly quickly. Being only 3.9 with the elixir pump, pump, you just have a tremendous advantage. Because most times, unless you're going against like 2.6 Hog Cycle, preview of tomorrow's video, unless you're going against 2.6 Hog Cycle or an incredibly fast deck, you're going to be able to outcycle your opponent's best counters to your 3 Musketeers. So that's kind of the gist behind the deck. A little bit lower risk and a little bit lower reward, as you can't punish immediately with that minion horde and that battle ram like you could, but it's a lot safer. You have that Valkyrie. She is so strong. I mean, the 2 surprise buffs again are Wizard and Valkyrie has found her way into pretty much every single archetype of the game, including Expo that I shared with you guys last week, including Hog Cycle. The trifecta is certainly back. I've seen about 4 or 5 trifecta decks, 12-win decks in the last 24 hours as well on Royale.com. So there's a lot of decks out there, and you can see the aggressive move here by Saif to go ahead and play that pocket Valkyrie and Goblin Gang after he played the Miner on the Elixir Pump. There's kind of an art to attacking your opponent's Elixir Pump, guys, and you guys who play Miner a lot know that. It's never a good idea to just go straight in with a Miner and that's it. It's easy to predict, and your opponent's always going to be ready for it. Once they know you have Miner, they're going to be hovering their best defensive cards next to their Elixir collector to try to protect it. So, word of advice to all of you guys, right? If you're going against somebody's pump, make sure you have a plan A and a plan B, meaning you can attack with the Miner and then you surprise them in the pocket with the Valkyrie and the Goblin Gang. They don't have enough Elixir left to defend because they just used their Goblin Gang or their best defenses protecting their Elixir Pump. And the same thing if you want to send in the Miner second. You can attack with the bridge. You can attack one lane with the Valkyrie minions. You can attack another lane with the Goblin Gang. You can wait a second and then send in the Miner. You have a way better chance of connecting with that Miner, mitigating the advantage gained by them by their pump. It's really important that you understand the art, the mastery of attacking an Elixir Collector if you want to play a Miner version of 3 Musketeers or, quite frankly, any Miner deck. It's really an important point that not a lot of people realize. I still see, as a 3 Musketeer player, I still see a lot of people coming at me with just a solo Miner. It's like, okay, man, I'm ready. I got my Valk ready. I can see where the Miner's heading, you know? So just kind of food for thought for you guys. Let's go into this match here because it's against, you saw on the previous match, by the way, while I was blabbing about the deck, you saw we took down Lava Hound with Fireball Zap or Fireball Log. Either way, they had a hard counter and we won. Speaking of hard counters, this guy has a P.E.K.K.A, he has a Minion Horde, he has a Mortar, a lot of strong answers to 3 Musketeers, and you're going to see this match go well into double elixir time, well into sudden death overtime, and Saif is going to come out on top, obviously, but let's see how he does it. Beautiful protection on that pump there on that left lane. He had answers for all the troops coming down the lane. Ice Spirit beautifully, Ice Spirit plus Zap beautifully taking down that minion horde and protecting the pump with the Goblin Gang. So at this point, he knows, I think, Saif, what deck he's going against. He's going against the P.E.K.K.A deck, and he realizes they don't have a big spell, right? They're going to be relying mainly on their Miner to protect our pump. So we're going to focus on pumping up, especially a deck like this. If you're not playing on ladder, you're playing in challenges, understand that as a 3 Musketeer player, you're going to have to utilize the entire 3 minutes of overtime, or at least be prepared to utilize the entire 3 minutes of overtime to your advantage. Meaning that if you don't have an elixir advantage and you're approaching sudden death time, go ahead and just cycle pumps. Just keep pumping. You still have 3 minutes to earn the advantage of those elixir pumps going into sudden death time. So here we go. Speaking of double elixir time, we just entered the last minute of this match against JP. And here comes the log responding to our goblins. We have a little bit of a Valkyrie cycle in the back of the right tower, but you can go into Saif's mind here and understand what he's trying to do. He's not trying to get a big Valkyrie beatdown push going. He's just trying to cycle, protect the tower that the opponent is going against, and keep pumping up, and he does a good job of doing so there. He puts down the Zag, puts down the minions. He has the defensive Miner there because he needed it. He needed distractions against that big swarm push coming his way. Of course, I didn't really talk about the Valkyrie too much so far, but the Valkyrie has so much bloody HP right now. It's crazy, guys. I mean, she has more HP than a Prince and a Dark Prince now after the HP buff. So just utilizing her as a tank is a really, really great idea. Again, apologies for the little glitch in the video, guys. It's annoying the hell out of me. I hope you guys aren't annoyed by it. And anyway, here comes a P.E.K.K.A in the right lane. We are now officially into overtime. 2 Musketeers on the P.E.K.K.A. They're going to be able to handle that. We have a defensive mortar down by the opponent. We go ahead and we pressure left lane here and keep the right lane in your purview too. We have 2 Musketeers unchecked in the right, forcing the opponent to use a Goblin Gang as we get rid of most of those goblins and take most of the HP off that mortar. But as I said, guys, Saif's going to go ahead and just keep cycling pumps. Look at this. We're 30 minutes into overtime and we're still using the Elixir Collector here, guys. We're not afraid to benefit from the Elixir Collector, whether there's 2 minutes left in the match or whether there's, 2 minutes left in overtime, right? So here we go again. It's a Valkyrie, 2 Musketeers in the right lane. We have a Musketeer and a Spear Goblin in the left lane. We have a Miner making contact to that left tower, guys, and we're getting both towers down to below 1,000 HP, or at least the right tower. I lied. We're close, but no cigar on the left tower. But you can see, now that we're in double elixir time, we are focusing on just cycling and cycling and cycling here. We're not getting super aggressive. We're getting our pumps down. We're defending. There's another pump again with only 1 minute and 45 seconds left in double elixir time, sudden death time. We're still pumping up here, guys. It's just a lesson for you guys to learn the power of the pump. We have a Valkyrie stymieing all those swarm troops in the right lane, backed up by some minions in the left lane. We have another Miner making contact. This time, he will, thank you very much, take that left tower down below 1,000 HP. Both of the towers down really low for the opponent. However, we do have the lower tower of the 3 here, down to 500, 458, 394. Of course, we know the opponent does not have a big spell, so we can use that to our advantage here and not have to panic at this point. Now, here it comes. It's a Goblin Gang. The opponent just used their zap. We have Musketeers locked onto the right tower, and again, that elixir pump really coming in handy there. Even though the opponent had the P.E.K.K.A, even though they had the mortar, we were able to still manufacture, an elixir advantage even into sudden death overtime and capitalize it and come away with the victory. Very well played there by Saif. Now let's go ahead and go into this match. Now this is a crazy match, guys. I probably should have let off with this match, so those of you who are still watching, thank you, by the way, for watching towards the end of the video. And secondly, you're going to learn a lot from this matchup too. It's bait, but it's not just any bait, ladies and gentlemen. It's an annoying fireball bait. Bait does not usually run fireball. It's usually rocket, NATO, or no spell, but this is a particularly annoying matchup here for Saif because, look at all the counters they have. Princess is a very good counter to 3 Musketeers. You can just play the Princess in the lane of the 2 Muskies and not really have to worry about anything, but we can't really have that luxury in this matchup. And here it comes. Fireball getting tremendous value, taking out 2 Musketeers and our pump. Saif cannot be happy about this. What? He's playing Fireball? Are you kidding me? So how the heck are we going to win this match? We're going to have to save our Miner for the opponent's Princess. That's going to be the first thing that we need to do. And just like we talked about attacking the opponent's elixir pump with our Miner, we have to do the same thing with the Princess. We can't just always send in the Princess on the, send in the Miner on the Princess. We have to have different game plans. We have to keep the opponent off of their toes. Now pay attention to this for a second, guys. We just countered that Goblin Barrel with Goblin Gang. I think it's the second time we've done that, and you're going to see Saif doing what all good players, including you, should do, right? You want to make sure that you're not defending the same way every time. It's actually a good idea to defend the same way 2 times in a row and then switch it up. Of course, you always want to switch things up, so if you do 2 times in a row in a best of 5 against somebody, well, maybe you'll just do 1 time in a row in the second match. But as a rule of thumb, I always like to defend the same way 2 times in a row. If you see that they do have an answer, you can expect it. There it is. That's the second time. Confused with my math, as I'm prone to do, being an old man and all. But 2 Goblin Gangs now on the left side to defend against the Goblin Barrel. Now watch on the next one. The next one, the opponent is learning here. Okay, I see what he's doing. He's playing the Goblin Gang every single time to answer my Goblin Barrel. In Saif being a very smart player, look at this. He has, okay, that's the 3rd time, I'm lying. Okay, the 4th time is when he comes through where he switches things up here, when he knows the opponent has the Fireball in rotation, because the opponent is going to send in that predictive Fireball, but this time, we're not going to make the same exact defensive move. So here it goes, guys. We have minions and a Miner doing a good job here. We have the Goblin Gang, dude. He's making me look like a fool. He's making me look like a fool, guys. It's the 4th time. I swear it's the 4th time he does it. I've only watched these replays once. Don't hold it against me. So here comes the princess to the left lane this time, guys. We got the right tower, meanwhile, down to 1286 while I've been blabbing with the wrong prediction moves in a match that I've already watched. This time, finally it pays off. The Goblin Gang played at the bridge instead of on the tower. The predictive fireball comes down, and it ends up being a wasted fireball, and that's what I'm talking about. Switching up your defenses. Did he do it after the 2nd time? No. Did he do it after the 3rd time? No. I was wrong, but he did it after the 5th time, right? And he knew the opponent did have fireball in cycle, and guess what? Now there's no fireball in cycle for the 3 Musketeers. We play an aggressive, high 3 Musketeers. He has fireball in hand now. He opts not to use it, and that's going to get good value as we take this Inferno Dragon down to only a sliver of health. So he's going to have to support this Inferno Dragon or do something. Again, the predictive fireball comes down. It does hit the minions as they were already played, but now gives us another opportunity to play a high 3 Musketeers. Playing a high 3 Musketeer is a really important part of this deck when you know your opponent has their best counter out of hand, putting the pressure on. Now we have 3 Musketeers in the left lane along with the Valkyrie, and we're putting pressure with the Goblin Gang and the Miner previously on the right tower, taking it down to 348. Now this time the opponent does have fireball in hand, but they don't have enough elixir to cast it just yet. They're saving the fireball. It's down to 336. They're going to need more damage than just a fireball. We're going to go in really strong in the right lane. We have a Miner on the tower. We have a couple Spirit Goblins going to NATO it all away, but we hit it there despite the princess firing from the opposite lane. So forgive the butchering of the play-by-play there, guys. You can see why I'm not working CRL North America or EU Combine. But guys, either way, I do hope you enjoyed the video. Huge shout out to Saif again for sharing these replays. Check out his player profile on statsroyale.com in the description below. Again, apologies for the annoying kind of blips or whatever on the video. That won't happen again. I'll make sure. But guys, thank you for watching all the way till the very end. I really appreciate it. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner, guys. Thank you, and as always, take care, guys.